Hey everybody, this is Matt from End Sickness. Today I'm going to talk about how the high protein diet stresses out your detoxification pathways. I personally went through this because I used to eat a high protein diet. I used to want to be buff all the time and I felt like protein was the thing for me to keep weight on. I had to have it or I would just die and shrivel away. But the reality was what was happening is I was eating this protein, it was not digesting fully, and it was compromising my liver, my kidneys, etc. So first, before I go into this, let me say I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. It's based on my experiences for informational and education purposes only. So how does a high protein diet compromise your detox system? So first of all, high protein foods have no fiber in them. And you need to be able to have fiber to be able to go ahead and absorb toxins and get them out of your body and feed the good bacteria and have stuff flush out of you. I mean, you only have so many ways to get waste out of your body. It's through your bowels, through your urine, or through your skin, right? And if you're consuming a high protein diet, you have this extremely acidic body, it's this buildup of acids and buildup of toxins, etc. But also you typically have slower bowels. When you have slower bowels, then you end up in a situation where you have a slower elimination of toxins, right? And when there's no fiber to bind to these toxins, because your fiber is like your sponge, it binds to the liquid, binds to the toxins in the gut, then these toxins recirculate and start to cause issues and they deposit places, etc. So this is how a high protein diet affects the gut and the bowels, and that's how you become more toxic. So in terms of the liver, okay, if you have a high protein diet, typically you also have a high fat diet, a diet that's high in animal products. If you have a diet that's high in animal products and high fat, then you're gonna have this slow down the liver function. When you have too much animal fat, it slows down liver function, you get a fatty liver, it starts to perform less effectively. And at the end of the day, that's the last thing you want is a sluggish liver and a fatty liver. It'll slow everything down, slow the detox system down, and compromise your ability to break down, to dispel of certain toxins and be able to produce certain enzymes, etc. And then the other part of having a high protein diet is it stresses your kidneys out, okay? When you have all these proteins that are unable to reach the cells, they go in the blood and they're unable to reach the cells because the cells are either dysfunctional from the acidity, because you're eating so much protein, your cells are now acidic and they don't want to suck the amino acids in. Or, when this stuff floods the blood, when these amino acids flood the blood and they can't get in the cell, guess what happens? These amino acids keep recirculating, and guess what it has to deal with them? Either the liver or the kidneys, they have to process them, and this is hard on both of them. The hardest thing of all to metabolize for the liver is amino acids. The hardest thing of all on the kidneys is protein, right? That's why if you have kidney disease, you don't eat a high protein diet. If you have liver issues, you don't eat a high protein diet. This is the reality of it. So if you're eating a high protein diet, you're putting stress on your kidneys, your liver, your gut, all your detoxification pathways, you're making your body hyperacidic, you're making your cells not permeable, you're slowing down everything in your body, and it may appear to be helping you right now, but eventually it's going to catch up with you when all this toxicity builds and builds and builds. Your immune system gets more aggravated, you get more anxious, you get more caught up in this chronic inflammatory scenario. I went there, I did it for a number of years. I thought meat was the answer. I cut back the carbs and went low carb, high meat, and eventually I had tons of gallstones, liver issues, kidney issues, my gut issues, etc., reacting to things, sensitive to mold, sensitive to stress, etc. So don't get caught in that loop. You got to go high fiber, more plants. You don't cut out animal products completely, but you go 90% plants, 10% animal products. That's the way to go. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, reach out. My website is endsickness.org. I got hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos on there teaching you how to heal yourself. Take care.